Hey everyone, thank you for being here today. Today we're going to see how to develop your community to sign a publisher. Convincing a publisher is the objective of many developers. It can be a long and difficult process. However, today I'm going to show you one of the easiest ways to maximize your chances of success. Because yes, strategies exist. Don't worry if you're not an expert communicator. This talk will be a step-by-step process and a low-budget tips and tricks. By the end of this talk, you will understand how we developed our community to sign a publisher. Before we start, let me show you what we have reached so far with Tribes of Midgard, a survival co-op action RPG game that's out next year. You maybe heard about Tribes of Midgard 3 years ago when we won the first Ubisoft indie series. We also reached more than 100,000 playtesters in the last year, which led us to be on the Steam homepage and the trending games on Twitch and Mixer. Yeah, we had that chance right before it shut down. Also, we are really excited to have an exclusive console deal with Sony on the PlayStation 5. And finally, we got a deal with one of the leading publishers, Gearbox, who only sign one game a year. And that's what I want to share with you today, how we reached these milestones to get that deal. So hi, I'm Jean-Philippe Beck. I'm graduated in communication, economic, and social science. 6 years ago, I started as a community manager, and I have several experience in marketing, content creation, and community development. 2 years ago, I decided to change the direction to start working in the video game industry. And last year, in 2019, I finally joined Norsfell as a community manager. Norsfell is based here in Montreal, Quebec, and was founded in 2013 by four co-founders. And you can see one of them doing his best freestyle pose at the bottom left. So we grew from 4 employees to 21 employees, and we have now reached more than 1 million players. And as I said earlier, we are currently working on Tribes of Midgard. Let me ask you a question that we ask ourselves. Do you need a publisher? There are thousands of successful games without publishers at all who use early access as a plan B. But in our case, given the number of survival games that already offer early access, it wasn't the best choice. Gamers already had a lot of options in this category. So, from day one, finding a publisher for Tribes has been objective. There are many obvious reasons for that, but mostly we wanted a partner who would increase our strike force and know how to fill in the gaps. And also, we wanted to reach the next level. We wanted a partner for that. But if you want to convince a publisher, if you want to sign a publisher, first you need to convince them. And that's what we will see now. What strategy to convince a publisher. Before we talk about strategy itself, let's take a few moments to talk about our objectives. We had one main objective, which was build a validation to de-risk investment. In short, show that our game was discoverability potential in addition to the gameplay and original features. So how did we do that? How do you show that your game is a low-risk investment? So first, by gaining massive exposure, or by increasing the amount of wish lists, or by working hard to obtain a highly rated score, and by finding the game's super fans. All of these goals concern the community and players, which means they will be the focus of our strategy. So you may think that after saying all of this, we want to release our game. But no, not yet. There's a better way. And here's what we did. First, we developed the game with several closed alphas, like a limited number of people, so that if you fail, only few players will see it. Then expand the game and make it seen and played by as many players as possible. To finally consolidate the first two phases by soliciting publishers. We started last year with our first closed beta. That's 2 years before the potential release of the game and more than 1 year before signing with Gearbox. I don't know if I need to explain what is a closed alpha, but just in case, uh, we offered players the opportunity to sign up to try our game for a limited time in order to receive feedback. And during this phase, our goal was to build a game with no major bugs and start building the community with email signups. One of the first things we set up was a app website. We wanted to make the closed alpha official. This takes some time, but it's worth it. The website was our access point to register for the closed alpha. When we talked to someone about the game, we would send them to the site. There they had all the information, and the registration was simple, just an email address. As you can see on the picture on the right, you just have to register your email address and you will receive your key. That's it. And you don't need more. You don't need to have more information. Since we went through Steam, access to the Steam required the key. To send it, no need to copy and paste. Like if you want to send the key, you don't need to copy paste the keys. You just have to use a newsletter tool. Uh, you can get a different key directly to each players. And if you don't know how, just send me a message. I will explain you in detail. The key management only took a few minutes before each event. And this allowed us to create our first contact list that we will use again each time we reorganize a new closed alpha. After you have a website, you need players. Finding them is quite easy. What worked best for us was networking on social media, but more specifically on the dev Facebook group. We also had a wave of players the day Alpha Beta Gamer shared an article about our closed alpha. As the name suggests, it's a site specialized about alphas, betas for gamers. And I recommend it to you because we got thousands of visits from this website. The other way to find new players is during events. Um, we we attend PAX, like it was a big boost for us, and we collected the thousands of email addresses. But unfortunately, it's expensive to attend. But you don't always need to pay to participate. There's a free events at Gameplay Space. For example, we organize a free playtest in Montreal, or events such as the Demo Night, MEGAMIGS, and Comic-Con, who all occasionally invite in this studio. We usually organize a closed alpha 1 to 2 weeks after an event, so that visitors who didn't have, I mean, people who didn't have the chance to try the game, they can do it for a weekend. We, when you attend an event, try to make the most of your time and get as many players as possible to sign up. You will have time to talk with them just after the event on Discord, and you will let them the chance to play your game. Like you don't need to spend too much time. Like focus on wishlist. Then, congratulations, because if you followed the steps, you should be able to reach the same statistics we reached after 3 closed alphas. You should share this kind of stats with your community for many reasons. You're showing them what they missed or what they contribute to. For for tribes, yeah, we reached few stats like 4,000 playtesters, 3,000 emails, and 500 members on Discord who already started to share a ton of feedback. But most of all, thanks to the community, we have a game that is funny, playable, bug free. This allows us to move on the next phase, which is expand. Once you had a solid foundation, we wanted to let the whole world try our game. So that's it. I mean, everyone can see it if you are doing open betas. Our goal here, as I mentioned earlier, is for massive exposure. To do that, we created an open beta which promoted with sustained content strategies and focused on the people who could help us spread the games, the champions. This phase began with 2 Steam pages, one for the open beta, which offered the game for free, and in the game, a wishlist call to action was added in several key places, such as the home menu or the game over screen, leading to the second Steam page. It is important to know that when you publish a game, no matter if it's an open beta or not, you will be blessed by Steam algorithm for 30 days. It placed us on the homepage, and I hope you will have the same luck as we did because the visibility is huge. With this method, there is no need to send a key. Like everyone can download the game for free. I know that there is no a beta option on Steam, but I haven't tried it yet. But I think that despite everything, I would choose to open 2 Steam pages because the traffic is generated. I mean, the traffic generated was insane. Every open beta was branded with an official trailer, which allowed us to improve our acquisition and hype building. So each one was a gameplay shots of the new features. We also made a shorter version of the trailer to make it easier to share on various platforms. Finally, each open beta has limited. I mean, sorry, each open beta has time limited. Um, we offer the trial of the game over 1 weekend, which allowed us to increase the FOMO effect, the fear of missing out, and encouraging our players to follow us to find the next dates. If you want to keep up the hype between open betas, you need to create a content strategy. Ours post every day, everything, everywhere, and it worked great. We were publishing new content 6 days a week. It seems like it's impossible, but I will show you our method that made it possible. First, we set up what we called rendezvous, content that comes back on the same day each week. For example, we had the Screenshot Saturday on Twitter, which allows developers to show rather aesthetic shots of their game. And every time we published a Screenshot Saturday with the hashtag Screenshot Saturday on Twitter, we gain an average of 200 wishlists. So it's worth it. We also created a rendezvous called Community Choice, which gives a voice to our community. And another one to give weekly updates, the dev update, which was actually a copy paste of our task. Just with this free rendezvous, half of the week had content, and we could do it in advance. A piece of advice here: don't publish anything for 2 weeks. Like just produce content. And don't push anything, don't publish anything. Save it for later, like save it when you're ready to publish daily. You will see your community grow like magic. Another way to have an almost unlimited supply of content is what we call the features loop, where we create multiples using the same feature. Let me show you an example. So here I'm going to talk about a Land of Pool camp. We created the first content with the initial sketch, and we posted this 1 week. And 1 week after, we posted the official artwork, so we can see the evolution. The next week, we shared the 3D sketch, or you can also share the VFX if you don't have a 3D sketch or if you are doing content about weapons or equipment. Then the fourth week, we shared the texturing or the animation. The week after, we shared the in-game footage. And then at the end, we made a recap with all of these 5 features. I mean, with all of these 5 steps, sorry. So this week's worth of content, what for us, like you have 6 weeks of content with that, by doing that. So if you have multiple features and you move them around on your calendar, you have forever content. And as I said earlier, post it everywhere, like post it on Imager, Reddit, it's worth it. Twitter, Instagram, GiveCat, Facebook, like post it where there is an opportunity to post content. After a few closed alphas and open betas, you will find out that influencers and press are fighting by your side to make your game known. We call these fighters our champions. It's important to identify them and collect data to create a relationship and enrich your discussions or targeting with a specific message. For Tribes, we had a long document that allowed us to record who played our game and when they play, if they were interested, or how to get in touch, and what was the main platform, or what is the main platform they are using. We had a ton of information we collected, and after 6 months, we managed to identify 1,300 champions. For example, like Frozen, we have here with 2 million followers on Twitch, or a PC gamer. I already showed that earlier. But for now, I mean, for me, there is one biggest supporters were the players, the ones who are dedicated to grow our community. And that's why we created the Mid Gardens, our dedicated, like, yeah, how can I say that? It's our dedicated community. We offer them rewards based on their involvement, like in-game cosmetics and swags. I would like to tell you a little more about this program, but sadly I'm running out of time. So after 3 open betas, let's see if we have reached the goals we set earlier. We wanted to gain massive exposure. In the end, after being on the Steam homepage and the Twitch trending games, and be seen and read by thousands of players, we can say that it's the case. We wanted to increase the wish list of our game. And with more than 100,000 playtesters, we reached this goal. We also wanted to have a high rating, and that we did with 90% of very positive reviews on Steam. And finally, we wanted to build a fan base. And with the Mid Gardens and the followers we had on social medias, that's also the case. So we can say that we completed the validation. And guess what? Since we had these statistics to share with the publishers, the discussions totally changed. Like we were able to enter to the next phase, which is consolidate. So let's jump in how we consolidated the deal. So during this phase, we are mostly negotiating with publishers. Because we reached our goals, we could play the hardy at the bar. Don't rush to sign the first offer because at some point you will start bidding. We start a bidding war. In our case, we received 5 really good offers in the end, which left us to choose the partner with the same vision as us. And since we were focusing on our community, we made sure to keep them in the loop. Before ending this talk, I would like to share with you some takeaways. What this adventure has taught us is that the community now has a very important place in the development of video games. Developers can not only count on their players to improve the game, they can also rely on them as a strong argument when looking for a publisher. That's why we mainly talk about community today. So letting them play for free your game. When we did that, that allowed us to gather evidence and in turn convince a publisher. And we can only advise you to do it as soon or as early as possible. Because we did it 2 years before the release and it worked pretty well. But be cautious and don't let the community play too long or too often because it could have the opposite effect. Cultivating the FOMO effect, the fear of missing out, is the key to keeping them engaged. Another thing we were understood after 6 phases of testing is to not release your game. Don't even offer it in early access or announce a date. Once your game becomes official, it becomes complicated to build a hype around it. I already said that, but talking with your community is important to keep them with you. From our first closed alpha, we wanted to listen to those who took their time to try our game. Today, this community is giving back to us by offering their unlimited support. And finally, don't be afraid to take risk. I feel like this journey is the accumulation of risky but rewarding choices. And one was probably recruiting 2 community managers almost 3 years before the game was released. So yeah, think about recruiting a community manager because you will probably need one. So yeah, I wanted to thank you, Ubisoft, for inviting us this year. As I said earlier, 3 years ago, they gave us a big boost with the Ubisoft Indie series, and now they are celebrating their 5th edition. So congratulations for them. Don't hesitate to follow them and reach out. Sorry, because it's a clear boost for the development of an indie game. And feel free to reach out if you have any question on Twitter or LinkedIn. It would be my pleasure to answer to any question. Thank you, everyone.